Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your buddy Chewie coming back at you once again. Ironically enough, this is the second episode that I'm recording this evening. I was out and about dropped off my middle son at baseball practice. Then I ran into Sam's Club and I got a couple things and kind of told the story on my way home of my older son about basketball quarantine that is having to take place because he was exposed to another player. Feel free to listen to that on the previous episode. And so now I'm going back out of the house. I went home and I unloaded the groceries, and now I'm going back out and I get to pick up my son from baseball practice, my other son. And so I'm actually doing a little bit of a test here. I'm actually not even sure if I'm going to put this one out, but I might. You never know. So on the previous episode, I was in my car recording, and I typically record these when I'm on my own. I record these using the recorder that's kind of built into your iPhone, right? I think it's voice memo is what it's called. And I was holding up the phone and talking into it using the external speaker on the iPhone. I have the iPhone 12 Pro these days, and so now I am testing to see what it would sound like if I use my iPods or my AirPods, I think they're called. So I'm using these, and which is kind of nice. I'm hands-free. I'm able to drive and be nice and safe. Nobody's going to write me a ticket, pull me over for talking or texting and driving, which of course is very dangerous. Let's see. I had a conversation today with a couple buddies of mine. We have an outstanding kind of Facebook Messenger chat group that is just kind of going all day, every day. There's about 6 or 7 of us in that group. It is the El Chili Thursday squad. If any of you guys are listening, shout out. Love you guys. And my buddy John shared the trailer to the upcoming Coming to America sequel, which I loved that movie, as I think most people my age really enjoyed that movie. That's kind of a classic Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall movie. If you've never seen it, stop what you're doing right now and go watch it. It is hilarious. I will say though that I never really thought there would be a sequel to that movie because I didn't really need it. Right? It was a standalone, outstanding flick. And it really didn't need a sequel. There are certainly movies that deserve sequels and should get sequels. There are other films that never should have had a sequel, right? And then there's films like this that, in my mind, really don't need a sequel. But it's coming. And so John said, "Boy, this trailer looks like hot garbage. I can't believe they fucked it up. And what a bummer. I was really looking forward to seeing that." And I think my response to that was, "Yeah, that sucks. I'm really, I was looking forward to that one as well. It's been a long time since I've really been looking forward to seeing a movie in the theater or seeing a movie. Now, obviously, we are in COVID times, so the entire movie industry as we know it has shifted or has died or a little bit of both. Obviously the movie theater experience, movie theaters essentially shut down for what, 6 months, something like that. I think I've been to the movie theaters once since lockdowns or since coronavirus became a thing. I actually went to go see, what was it called? The Roots. It was like this animated movie, and my youngest son was invited to a birthday party, and as the birthday party, they actually rented out the entire theater, which I thought was an awesome, real super cool idea. And so everybody was able to, social distance. They had their own seats, and a lot of people had their own rows, and it was a way to have a birthday party for a 6-year-old, or I think maybe he was 7, and still get everybody together and see everybody, but still, remain socially distant and safe and those kind of things. So I've literally only been to the movie theaters once since last March. And it got me to thinking, I really can't remember a time that I was really, really jazzed about a movie other than like a Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie. Obviously when every Marvel movie that would come out, I would, be super, super jazzed to see. But even once we got past Infinity War and Endgame, that was kind of the end of my excitement. I know there's been one movie since then in the MCU, and I know that there's a Black Widow movie coming out, which admittedly looks good. In fact, I believe they pushed it back a year. It was supposed to have been out a year ago, I think. Um, I was really excited to see. I love horror movies, obviously. I was really excited to see the upcoming Halloween movie. I believe it's Halloween Kills, and that was supposed to come out last October, and they decided to push that one back as well. So I'm excited to see that. But other than that, it's been a long time since I've really been really jazzed to see a movie. Um, and I don't know if that's because I don't go to the theaters all that often. I don't know if it's that I consume movies differently than I did in my younger years. With the advent of things like Netflix and YouTube Live and YouTube TV and all these kind of things, I think the way we are consuming media just in general is just very different, or at least for us, for my family. I don't know. Feel free to leave us a comment here. We'd love to hear from you. Are you going to the movie theaters? Are you consuming movies differently? I know Pip has been trying to get me to watch the YouTube show Cobra Kai, which of course I would love. I've watched one episode of it and I love it, and I just have not gotten back around to it. And I know he's going to kill me for the fact that I haven't sat down and watched it, and it's just a time thing with me. But I needed to make the time to watch that show because I know for a fact that I would absolutely love it. So, but the movies, I think the movie theater experience to me that's the purest way to watch a movie, right? Go into a theater, get a big box of popcorn, a big bag of popcorn, and just sit there and relax and turn your brain off, regardless of if you're seeing a comedy or an action movie or what have you. That's the most pure way to watch a movie. But I will say that I don't know, maybe the last 5 or 6 years, I have really shifted the way I even go when I went to the theater, how I would go, right? I would always, at this point, go out of my way to make sure that I've got a reserve seat. I really enjoy the recliner seating. I'm willing to pay a couple extra dollars for that. I'm willing to pay a couple extra dollars to make sure that I don't have to stand in line. I'm willing to, I know where my seat is. I can choose it before I get to the theater. I remember when I went to go see Endgame, I went on opening night, and I drove an extra 20 minutes because I was going to a theater that had reserve seating with the right kind of seat and those kind of things versus going to what I'll call a traditional theater that just has an ass every 16 inches, and you're just packed in there like sardines. I really think that coming out of COVID, the movie theaters that survive, and let's be honest, there's going to be a lot of them that don't. I really think almost all of them are going to be one of two types of theaters. Either the big chains and the Cinemarks and the AMCs and those kind of things. But I think those theaters are going to almost exclusively have to offer that stadium seating, recliner seating environment, which is going to mean much fewer seats in the theater. I think that's going to be necessitated by COVID restrictions. Even after we come out of COVID, I think people are going to be skittish and not want to sit packed into these locations like they used to, especially when you're eating popcorn and those kind of things. Um, and I think that's also going to be necessitated because the home video experience is just getting so much better that it is really difficult to justify a bad viewing experience at the movie theaters for those prices. When you can go, you can set up a really solid home entertainment center to the point where you don't have to wait in line, you don't have to pay $25 for a movie and tickets and popcorn and those kind of things. You can pause. You can have it as loud as you want. You don't have to, you don't have to be interrupted by somebody talking or texting or this, that, and the other thing. I think just movie theaters are going to be very drastically different. The other type of movie theater that I think will probably survive is your what I will call your kind of art house, right? The old school kind of vintage movie houses that will play not your big blockbuster films, but your foreign films, your think pieces, your indie films, those kind of things. I have a feeling that those sorts of places will also survive, just because I think there's always going to be a portion of the population that is interested in that sort of experience, that off the beaten path, a little bit different, a little bit the stereotypical kind of movie geek that really values the movie experience. I think those two types is probably going to be what we have moving forward in the movie industry. All right, I have rambled on long enough. Again, this is just kind of a test to see that the audio is good and can I record this way. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's staying safe, healthy, and happy, and we will talk to you soon. This is Chewie. This is the 411 from 406. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.